All right, cool. It says that
Hey,
we're live. Hey, everybody.
welcome. So glad to be hanging out this evening.
Yep. Thank you for being my guest,
Yeah,
Sean, the old fogey stogie.
my
You
honor.
gave me the cigar. I'm really excited.
Right on. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about that cigar. So, my very first cigar that I really started smoking out a lot was the EP Carrillo, the Encore Majestic. I don't. I never thought I'd like a box press, but that cigar got me hooked on a box press, and I bought a few of those. And then about that time, the 15th anniversary came out, and I bought like 5 or 6 of them, and I smoked a few, and I loved it so much that it was the very first cigar that I ever actually bought a box of. And it comes in this gorgeous black lacquer freaking piano case, push button open box with a top cover, and the cigars are all nestled inside. Got a nice felt bottom. This is a gorgeous box, and I got it at a local. I got it at Outlaw Cigars, Northtown. It was like $300. I about shit my pants. I was like, oh my god, I'm getting ready to spend $300 on cigars for the first time in my life. But I knew I liked this cigar, and I knew it was going to be worth it, and it was something that I was going to enjoy and be able to share with people. And I have. I sent you some. I sent Toby some. I sent Marvin an EP Carrillo. So I've sent a few of these out. But man, they're gorgeous. This is basically this is their 15th anniversary. This is a 6.5 by 54. Basically, it's a Bellicoso. It is a Mexican San Andreas wrapper. That's 10 years of age, along with a 15-year-old binder of Nicaraguan Jalapa. And then the filler blend is Nicaraguan and Dominican that are several years old. And Carrillo produced like 5,000 boxes of these, and it's a 15 cigar box. So that's like 75,000 cigars total, and only 3,500 boxes of these were brought to the U.S., and the rest were sent in worldwide markets. So it's something that I was like, yeah, I want to jump on these and at least have the box. And I'm glad I got the box because man, it's such a tight seal, and it makes, and with that wood top, it makes a really great dry box. You know what I mean? It's a really good dry box. But I've just got it on display with my Opus Forbidden and my Opus God's Whisper box. Right, it fits right up there with it. But it's got this nice, nice long sleeve, and it don't stick. Even the top band's pretty good and loose. So I've had this has got about 6 months age in my humidor before I sent this to you. So it's got a little bit of age on it since I bought it. And then like right now I've got so I'm at like 64% at 65% at the foot. And then I think so I've got a flat cut, which does pretty good on this, but with the Bellicoso, I think I really like the V cut. The V cut's pretty good on this. And so I don't know, what are your thoughts on how you're going to cut this cigar, man?
Because I got a couple options. I got my flat cut guillotine. I got a punch cut.
Oh yeah.
And I got the Zycar V cut. Nice. And I like when it is a tapered cap to do the V cut. So I'm probably gonna do the V cut with you.
So let's chop this thing with a nice V cut. And so now let me ask you this: some people prefer according to the band anyway, they like to cut it sideways or vertically. So when you smoke it, do you like a horizontal V cut or a vertical V cut? That's a good question.
I like the horizontal. I like it to match
Amen.
up to my lips good.
Absolutely. I think that spreads the smoke evenly across the palate better than the vertical. I think the vertical sends too much of it up to the roof of your mouth.
I want to take a quick second to say hi to our friends that are commenting in the chat. I don't want to mess it up. I'm still trying to learn the StreamYard, but what's up, Hotbox? What's up, my wife, Tara? And we got Ray Cigar Lounge.
Hey, what's up, Ray? Good to see you. Hey, E, what's up? Glad you guys came, man.
Eleazar, we got cigars to burn.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us. This is a very special moment with us, and especially thank Hotbox and Ray. I've been really trying to go hang out with Ray on Saturday nights. He's got a pretty good show, and most of the time we just bullshit and hang out for hours, and it's really good. So Ray, I'm really glad to see that you're here, brother. So anyway, let's go ahead and get this thing lit up. I think I'm going to soft flame this thing for a little while and just kind of toast this foot a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to soft flame too, especially that I got double Lajero leaves on the filler. Definitely want to let it toast as easy
nice
as possible.
And smooth and slow, absolutely.
It's got a really nice aroma just on the wrapper. Like this thing is really cool.
It does. And this thing it's rolled so well, and it's it's got a good oil on it, and I'm really, really digging it thus far.
While we're lighting, I want to mention our first sponsor of the show is Sober Cigars. 1T Matt. I like to ask everybody is what are your top non-alcoholic pairings? And if you want to elaborate of what, when, and why.
Well, let me start that off as somebody that is a struggling alcoholic. I mean, I've been drinking for decades, and I've really been trying to not drink so much whiskey and stuff because I'm just too old for that. So some of my favorite non-alcoholic pairings for me are, I love coffee, so a great double espresso. I drink a lot of really subtle light roast Ethiopian single source coffee, and I like a pour over to go with this. And then some really good sodas, some good sarsaparilla. Depending on the cigar, sometimes I like more of a cream soda. Sometimes I like something a little darker, like a sarsaparilla. But there's a lot of really great craft sodas out there that go really good with cigars as well. And then even just sometimes, when a cigar has nuances and flavors to it that I really can't distinguish at the time, I don't want to try to introduce things into my palate that are going to take away those new. So I'll just drink water. I'll just sip on water to try to keep my palate clean so that I can really experience that cigar for the first time or whatever. And hey, yeah, Tara, the dirty soda or the Mormon coffee for those of you that live in Utah. Even that. So the dirty soda is basically like a soda pop that's mixed with like a coffee creamer and some flavoring and what have you. And so you got it. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, she's been getting really good at those. There's a really nice s'more flavor that she's got the recipe for. But I agree, when we're learning new cigars, it's good to kind of keep it basic with the water. I always got a nice amount of water.
Yeah.
And for tonight, when I got used to the cigar a little bit, I have the French pressed Dominican coffee.
Nice. So I'm gonna go the other way because I'm kind of celebrating this week, but I'm also because I just started a new job, a second day of the job today. Amazing job. I work for this company called Austin Dooley Company that actually he has a bunch of group homes that provide support, care services, and housing for extremely disabled people. And I got on their maintenance team, so I get to go around and help keep all these houses in line and what have you. But I've had this cigar, and my favorite pairing with this, and it's alcoholic, but it's not strong. So I'm going to share this with you. This is from a local brewer. So this is from Boulevard Brewing Company, which is Kansas City's premier craft, the original craft brewer. This is the Churro Grande, which is their smokestack release, and it basically it is what it is. It's a churro, but it's like one of the finest churros that you could ever imagine. It's almost like the Chocolateria Sanguines from Madrid, Spain. You know what I mean? Spot of just perfectly crisp, traditional churro, rich hot chocolate. Perfect for dipping with just a cinnamon. I mean, it's like it's like a Cinnabon on crack flavor almost. It's really, really good bready cinnamon flavor, and it goes really well with this cigar. So that's what I'm sipping on tonight. And this is coming in at 11.5 ABV. So it's not, it's not your average slug worthy beer. This is a sipper, and this is something to be made enjoyed.
I won't toast with water, but cheers, brother. Proud of you.
Cheers to you, man. Yeah, I'm doing really good. In fact, Friday will be 7 weeks for me since I've touched a drop of whiskey. So that's quite an accomplishment for my old self. And not that I'm never going to drink it again, but it was starting to get to a point where it was kind of running my life, and just with the surgery that I've had and my age, I don't need to be drinking hard liquor like I used to. And that's the hard thing is, I've been a partier for 35 years straight, so it's hard to calm down. But I'm going to say that cigars has really helped me with that. It has really brought my attention more towards savoring flavors. So I want to slow down with my experience of everything that I go with it. That's why I drink a lot of coffee with these, and with the nicotine and the caffeine boost that I get from a lot of the pairings that I have. Man, it's great. It's a new kind of experience onto itself.
Yeah, I'm gonna do first straw. Whoa, that is really complex and bold. A lot of nice flavors going on. Like I feel like I'm eating like a really dessert Tootsie Roll type of cake, like a marble chocolate cake. Like the spice is there, but it's perfect.
It doesn't punch you in the teeth, and on the French exhale, it's not harsh either, even right off the light up. You know what I mean? As long as you don't gun it out, if you give it a nice smooth French exhale, so it's like
Yeah, shouts out to my brother-in-law going through a similar journey of going beers only.
Yeah.
At least moderating when to do the liquors, and shouts out Hotbox. Stepped away from all booze since 2019.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not ready to do that because I'm stepping down from lots harder shit, for years and years and years, and it's and I'll be honest with you, I have an addictive personality. I always have, you know what I mean? I got to go crazy and gaga over everything that I get into, and it's really hard to tame yourself. But it's like, I'm at the age now where it's like I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? It's good for me to slow down. It's good for me to exercise self-control. It's like, my life is not just about me. It's and I don't want to be selfish. I have an amazing wife. Her name is Brenda. She's been with me for 30 years. I got beautiful kids. I got great family. My brother Kevin and his wife Robin that lived down in Wichita, and my sister Megan and her husband Austin that lived down in Warsaw, Missouri, with their 3 children, Austin and Caitlin and Owen. I got a really good family. I'm really truly blessed with that, and it's like I'm not. I have let some of my addictions put myself between me and them over the years, and I'm just not going to do it anymore. I don't have to, you know what I mean? Because I can get great enjoyment, and this is one of them. The cigar thing has been such a great experience for me. It has been such a such a calming effect in my life, and you know how it is. Everybody, this is just says slow down, and that's what I love about it. So it's kind of helped pull me out of a lot of the things that have behaviors that I knew that I needed to change. So I can attribute a lot of that to this, and I can attribute a lot of that to increasing my faith and doing my daily reflections and reading my scripture every day, and trying to bring God and God's word into my life and allowing him to work. And he, like this new job that I have, I know it's all him. I know he fully is put me on that path, because I've been to a few jobs lately that I thought, oh, this is the one he wants me to have. This is the one he wants me to have. But I know now that it's like I was fooling myself, but I truly feel that this, with the support of the kind of people that I'm helping, is just right where I need to be. So.
Yep. And I did have in my notes that I wanted to touch base on the wives. My wife is here in the chat, and you mentioned Brenda a lot. I know that you guys been together 30 years and that she's been with you through all the ups and downs and deserving of all the good that's coming to you. Like, that's really awesome. Wanted to ask, since being a newer smoker, how have you been able to handle the life balance? Have you guys adventured into smoking together, or she likes you having your time to decompress?
No, Brenda and I used to smoke cigarettes together probably 25 years ago, but my wife is an extreme allergy sufferer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, to the point where it's like cigarettes, even if I would smoke a cigarette or something around her in her immediate vicinity, I might as well shove a Spalding tennis ball right up her nasal cavity, because that's what it does to her. She just can't breathe. But she has at least let me build my Death Star cigar bar here in the house, and I've made sure to isolate it from the rest of the house, and I've got smoke eaters, and I've got ventilation, and I got all that stuff to where it's like I can come down here and enjoy my stogies and do my thing. And there might be a little hint of something that she picks up if I forget to shut a door and the AC's blowing it through the rest of the house, but it's not killing her. You know what I mean? But we are not able to share this passion together, this hobby together, and I'm okay with that, because that's just more cigars for me.
Yeah. My wife's pretty sensitive on it too. She's tried to help me do some filming, and some of the local humidors have been okay with it. And one of the times they had some cigarette smoking going on, and it made her really lightheaded. She had a hard time. Shout out to Codger.
Hey, what's up, man? I don't know you, but glad you came in here. Ray says, I've tried a cigarette in college and hated it, but love cigars. Yeah. Oh man, I'm from the 70s, guys. Okay. I'm from an era of time where doctors smoked fucking cigarettes in the hospital while they were working on people. airplanes, fucking, you smoked in every fucking seat. There was either a no smoking light or a smoking light, which means everybody on the plane could fucking smoke, or you need to stop smoking because we're going to do some shit. You know what I mean? And it was actually fashionable to smoke in the late 60s and 70s. You know what I mean? I mean, look at all the shows and look at all the things where it's just cigarettes, 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 cigarettes. You know what I mean? So I started smoking cigarettes at 10, 12, 13 years old. You know what I mean? My grandma would have cigarettes. My dad would have cigarettes. My great grandmother, I'm going to tell you a little story about her. Her name was Myrtle Van Dyke. She owned a nice restaurant in Independence, Missouri on the square back in the late 40s. Great cook. And she used to smoke them more 120 menthol, them little brown, long ass, skinny cigarettes, menthols. And I'd sit over at her house and she would, she'd light them up on the gas stove and she'd be like, "Here, you want one of these?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." And we'd light up those cigarettes and start smoking them. And then she loved to play rummy, gin rummy. And she'd be like, "Give me one of these." And she'd be like, "Here, dummy, want to play rummy?" And I was like, "Yeah." You know, so it was like I got into cigarettes at a way young age, and I smoked and smoked and smoked, and every once in a while I'll still have one. I've kind of still smoke more of that shit than I need to, but this has helped a lot because you know, this has given me an introduction into finer tobaccos, not chemically saturated crap, you know.
Yeah. Tara ended up bringing up a little bit of her history that she used to smoke. But blood clots are really scary and definitely impact a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Tara, it's really great to meet you. You got a great husband, man. I really like him. And I'm going to say this now, that probably in the next couple of years, I'm not going to put a time frame on it, but I have never been to California. But yet I've never had a reason to come to California. And if there was a reason, it would be because I would want to come visit my friend Ben. So we'll have to try to figure something out on that stage and, you know, come hang out with y'all and you can show me what Cali's all about, you know. And thank you, Ray, for the suggestions. You know, yeah, we all got to support one another, brother. And, it's all good, you know. I'll tell you, this is off to a good. Go ahead.
Thank you for that stick in a story.
There you go. Yeah, I was a stick in a story. Simon's on vacation tonight. He's over picking up a couple cases of Davidoff chef's editions. You know.
Heck yeah! Shouts out Simon. So speaking of supporting each other. Presented by the Cud. Other sponsor is, what have you been watching? What's some new content you've been enjoying? Who and why?
Well, I've been hanging out with Ray. I've been watching his stuff. I mean, he's just an average smoker, American guy, working class guy that, you know, doesn't necessarily have the means to afford, you know, massive boxes of shit and whatever, but he does, like, he loves his Ashton Symmetries, and that's a really good one. He likes the Ashton cabinets. You know, he's had some really good cigars that he shared on his thing. Who else on the cigar realm? I mean, you know, it's hard not to support some of my Cud brothers. I mean, you know, Cigar Hound Dog has been such a great proponent of mine. In fact, he's the reason why I was able to actually get on a Cud episode, period, because he was like going to boycott everything unless they let me on there. He watches my stuff. He supports my stuff. Michael at Master Your Ash. I mean, all the Cud guys, I mean, have been great, you know, and Carpy has put me on the pipe realm and doing all that kind of stuff. I used to watch a lot of Holtz, but they've kind of gotten to the point where it's like, it's kind of been there, done that. You know, they're not really coming up with a lot of new content, and I need a change. You know what I mean? I need for things to be different and become different. And you know, I've been really enjoying what's his name? Epicurean Smokes.
Yeah, Steven, he's great.
Steven is really great. I love watching his stuff, and Sober Cigars too. You know what I mean? Sober Cigars is a great channel.
Mhm.
You know, and
Yep, shouts out Matt.
and E, you know,
Mhm.
and you know, I would watch Roger at Working Man Cigars if he would actually put some fucking content out. So fucking love you, Roger, but get your head out of your ass and start making some videos, bro, because I really love what you do. But you know, let's fucking see some more out of you, at least this next year coming up. Okay. And you know, it is what it is. But that's kind of who I really enjoy. And then I've been so I've been getting into the pipe thing a little bit more, and you've really helped me on my pipe journey too. So I've been like watching the Pipe Cottage, you know, the old South Carolina boy that just talks, you know, and he's just, oh my God, you know, he is so fucking great to watch. I love watching Pipe Cottage, you know, and shit like that, you know.
Yep, and he's a man of God, so I know that's
He
something for
is,
us to
yeah,
connect on.
he's a preacher, and God bless him, you know, and I tell you what, that's another thing, and that's something that Marvin from Rise and Grind. In fact, he's doing a live tonight, and you know, a lot of his stuff is about, you know, being a man and being a Christian and sharing your faith. And he's encouraged everybody on his last live stream to go ahead and profess your faith and not be scared of it and not be worried about it. You know what I mean? And as we shouldn't be. You know what I mean? We should be sharing that with everybody and doing our part to perpetuate that, especially in a world full of lunacy, in a world full of violence, and just you know, we need them, you know. And today actually was supposed to be by somebody, some brainiac, some bitch. Today was supposed to be the end of the world. Jesus was supposed to come back today. Well, he didn't make it to the 816, so I don't know if he's anywhere else, but he didn't show up in Kansas City today. So anyway, yeah, Memento Cigars. Yeah, Ray, that guy, his production value is off the hook, and he's kind of like a working man's Kirby Allison. You know what I mean? He
Really dapper.
Yeah, real dapper, real suave guy, dresses well, great production quality. You know, and he's got some good sponsors and he's got some thing, but he ain't got no damn Kirby Allison connections. You know what I mean? And I'll say that about him, you know, but I love his thumbnails. I love the effort and everything that he puts into it. But I'll be honest with you, that guy's got a team of people working with him. He's not doing all that shit by himself. You know, there's absolutely no way. And if he is, hats off to you, because it's hard to you know, it's hard to put that kind of quality out on a consistent basis by yourself.
He just said he's Houston, been to the shop.
Oh, no kidding. Right on. Well, next time you go in, give him some love from us, and, you know, tell him that we like what he's doing, and tell him to check out our channels and shit. And, you know, we'd be glad to support his business and send us some links and, you know, let us know what he's got going on. I imagine so, you know, and that's one of the things that I've really noticed is you basically have two classes of people in this cigar, this YouTube cigarry world. You got sellers and promoters, and then you have hobbyists. You know what I mean? In fact, Ben, you and I have had some conversations, some of them great, some of them not so great, you know, about how a lot of this industry, it's a big money maker. It's huge. You know, the cigar industry is multi-billion-dollar business, and it's business. You know what I mean? And I understand the fact that a lot of the people that are out there are trying to promote what they're doing and try to get their share of the market and whatever. And God bless them for that. You know what I mean? Everybody has their right, and everybody has their, you know, needs and necessities. And you can see the people that are putting the work in, you know, and, you know, hats off to Shaunicus with Real Leaf Cigar. I love Shaunicus's stuff as well, and they're getting ready to do their grand opening on their shop this week. And I've actually bought some stuff. I'm a huge Dunbarton guy. I love the Saka stuff. And when New Orleans came around this year, and they had that, what is it, the PCA or whatever it is, and everybody was down there, Saka introduced that GFY Lancero collection. Well, number one, I was like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to get those, because I don't think any of my locals will bring it in. And I love a Lancero. Like, I'm a huge Liga Unico L40 guy. I smoke the shit out of those. Those are a good cigar, and I like a Lancero, especially if I'm gaming. You know what I mean? Because I can smoke on that thing. It goes out quick, but it doesn't like fill up full of char and shit, so that when I relight it, I'm still smoking the same cigar. It's a good sip it and put down kind of cigar. So Sean was like, hey, we got some of those. And by God, he gave me the discount code, all that stuff. And I got a box of those. And so thank you to Sean at Real Leaf Cigar. And you guys reach out to them, try to support them, and they do some really good things. And you know, they're just some working class people that are putting the shop together. Javi, what is up, brother?
Javi, my buddy, I got to get him back on here. We had a really hard time with the technical difficulties, but it seems like we're doing good now. So I'll have to schedule him back on.
Were you StreamYarding when you had Javi on?
Yeah.
Really?
We only had like 2 minutes, but there was a lot of lag. Just got to keep working through it.
I'll tell you what, guys. If you need some cigar information, if you want some real honest opinions and some real fortitude about where to get certain cigars that you're looking for, and a wealth of cigar knowledge, Javi is your guy. Because everything that I've ever asked him about and told him about, he has shared some great things with me, and he has yet to disappoint, because everything he suggested that I've purchased, whether I found it local or whether I got it on, you know, a 5-pack somewhere or something, Javi has really been he don't make it about him. He makes it about you and what you want. He actually listens to you, and he actually will try to, you know, you kind of tell him he's like a great tobacconist at your local B&M, but you know what I mean? He actually listens to what you want and what you think and what your profile is, and he will recommend some stuff. And it's been spot on for me so far. So thank you, Javi, for that.
Yep. He's looked out for me a lot too on recommendations and helping me try cigars. He almost started a channel at one point, but you got to be in the cut to hang out with Javi.
Yeah. And so, yeah. So the Memento guy's name is Clint. Okay. Thank you for that. I didn't know exactly what his name was for sure. Man, really appreciate all you guys coming and hanging out with us. You know, this is something that Ben and I have been trying to do, because him and I kind of hit it off in the cud and just started hanging out and talking some things and sharing some things. And, you know, I like this cigar. I was like, dude, you got to try one of these. So I had to send him a little goodie bag and let him try some of the stuff that I like. And, you know, that's what this is all about. You know what I mean? But something that I need to kind of clarify with y'all as well too, and this is something that I've experienced in the Cud. This is something that I've experienced anywhere else. This cigar thing, especially virtually, is about building relationships. You know what I mean? Don't come into this with the expectation that all of a sudden that just because you're talking to somebody that they're going to hook you up with cigars, or all of a sudden that, you know, hey, I want to know where can I get some Cubans, or where can I do this, or where can I do that? You know what I mean? Yeah, there's people out there that know that and everything, but you know what? There's a million people hitting those guys up for that kind of shit. And all I can say is put the work in and build in the relationships and actually share your thoughts on the cigars that you like. And don't always send shit out to people expecting something back. You know what I mean? Because that's not what it's about. For me, it's been about my enjoyment of, hey, have you tried this? Well, I really love this shit. So that's why I sent it out to you, you know? And that's something that was kind of hard for me to learn at first. And they call that dry begging. You know what I mean? Don't dry beg people for shit when you don't really know them. You know what I mean? Get to know people and get to know what they're about and get to know their life and put the time in and the work in to actually let people know that you give a shit about them. And like I said, maybe just send them cigars, and if they send you something, fine. If they don't trip on it. You know what I mean? Because because they got a lot of people that they got to send cigars to. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. They're not cheap.
Yeah, and they're not cheap.
That bag you sent me was over $100. You sent me a bunch of the Brulee Blue, which I want to touch on, that being one of your favorites.
Dude, I love
that Gran Habano Black Dahlia. Great smoke, especially in that size you let me try.
Yeah, the Corona Gorda of the Black Dahlia is my fave. I love it. And the Brulee Blue, so the I can't remember, it was the some cigar festival in Dornst or somewhere overseas. Saka just got the boutique brand of the year Nicaragua for the Brulee Blue. You know, he just got an award for that cigar. And you know, it's worth it because Brulee Blue is like my favorite cigar. Hey, Hugo, what's up, dude?
Hugo, that's a nice message, Ray. We'll definitely talk. Always want to end up seeing what you're into also.
Yeah, Hugo's got a really great channel. He gets pretty in depth, and his palate is very refined. So definitely hit Hugo up. And
very refined. He knows on how to say all the Spanish words really well, and he's consistent. He puts out a lot of nice videos.
He's a good R roller.
So I'm gonna let it ash, but this thing has held really great construction.
I just ashed mine because I don't drip ash on my fucking Death Star Opus embroidered fucking shirt from Cathedral. What is it? Cathedral. Yeah. Cathedral. This is my favorite shirt. I love this fucking thing. Whenever I go to the cigar bars and shit, I'm always wearing this because it's got my Death Star patch, it's got the Opus patch, and just love it. But yeah, you know, and that's another thing too. It's like so many guys, you know, they want to have this big old long old ash and shit. Well, number one, I smoke in my home. You know what I mean? I actually have a cigar bar in my house. I don't want that shit getting all over the place. I don't want it getting all over my clothes. When I've got enough ash on it to where I know it's going good, I like to leave a little bit of ash on it because it does insulate it, but I'll roll it and break it off. I don't tap it and do whatever. But I don't you know, I don't get those gargantuan ashes when I'm smoking inside. You know?
Yeah, I try to play with it when I'm walking, but like you said, outside, I've burned too much clothes trying to play that game.
Yeah. Yeah, and put holes in my good tie-dyes and shit, you know, and I'm just not gonna do it anymore. So did you have some more shoot off with some more questions, man? I know you got a good list of questions. Let's try to rifle through some.
Yep. You've been smoking for almost a year. We're almost into October, so it's almost that anniversary. I was looking through your list of what you've been smoking. You've smoked some great stuff. The Ashtons, the Crux, Espinosas, Davidoffs, Ligas. You mentioned that Lancero one that was really good. The L40, LFD, Fuente, Foundation, My Father. You've been really enjoying some great stuff. Like, it's really cool to see your journey and getting to develop your palate. It's a lot. Like, it took me a little while to feel comfortable in a humidor and actually recognizing brands. You've been doing well for yourself.
Thank you. Well, yeah, so it was like, you know, I've got a pretty refined palate, and a lot of that comes from my culinary background, you know, from cooking for my family growing up, and my grandmother's teaching me about how to use spices and how to blend spices, and then, you know, getting into my competition barbecue realm, and, you know, coming up with my own rubs and coming up with my own barbecue sauces, and learning how to blend flavors and everything, and recognizing complex flavors that's not just your normal stuff, you know what I mean? So when I first started smoking the cigars, it was my buddy Drew at the Cigar Merchant in Blue Springs, Missouri, was the first guy that I really went to and was like, "Hey, I'm starting my cigar journey. What do you recommend?" And he's like, "Well, you really need to start out with some milder stuff." So he went with the Ashton Classic. You know, he went with the you know, the Undercrown Shade, you know, Connecticut, you know, some of this real milder stuff. And then I started building into it, but I got into it and was like, this is okay. And I like this stuff for breakfast, because my favorite cigar of the day is, give me an Ethiopian pour over with a Connecticut Shade, and I'm happy. I start my day off with that and a little bit of some scripture and some reflections from Jesus, and I'm good. But I was really able to get into more complex cigars fairly quickly. Yeah, that Julius Caesar, that Crown Heads Julius, that's a good one. I've had one of those. That's really good, E. And in fact, I've got that Crown Heads Magnus that I haven't tried yet, and just the regular Crown Heads, because I haven't got into theirs much. And I really do try to support my locals as much as possible, but it's like, dude, you know, I got one shop that's like 10 minutes away, and then every other local, it's a 35-40 minute drive for me. You know what I mean? It's tough for me to support those businesses, but I do support like Ben and Michaela down at La Cultura. They do really, really good. You know, Outlaw Cigar Bar up north is really good. But anyway, getting back to it, it was like, I could have bought boxes of this and I could have bought boxes of that, but I have focused this first year predominantly on buying single sticks of this, that, and I've put the research in, and I've watched the people that know what they're talking about, you know, and, you know, everybody has turned me, you know, Michael from Master Your Ash, Cigar Hound Dog, you know, Carpy, they've turned, and Johnny OCD has turned me on some really good stuff too. But there's been some other people out there. Hugo, you've recommended some things that I didn't even think I would remotely like, and I was able to find them at a local, and I was like, oh wow, this is some good stuff. But I wanted to focus on smoking as many different types and blends and wrappers and everything that I possibly could, to really get the full spectrum of what brands do I like, what's this. So let me throw this into the mix. So pretty much my favorite go-to brands are Dunbarton. I love the Dunbarton stuff. You know, I love all the Solitas. I love the Syncopromesas, all that kind of stuff. But I also I love the EP stuff. You know what I mean? I smoke a lot of those Encore Majestic box presses. That is a beautiful cigar for any time of day. Doesn't matter what I'm doing, and it's always, I've had maybe 2 out of 30 that have had some construction issues. And I think a lot of it was because I just didn't have enough time to devote to the cigar. So I was puffing on it faster than I needed to, and it started to run a little bit, and so I really love that stuff. And I try to go back and forth between lighter, medium, fuller blend stuff. Like, everybody's been getting me into like the Alex Glez stuff and the Ferio Tego stuff, and some of the more full body things. And I can actually appreciate those for what they are and get some of the tasting notes out of some of those cigars. But I find myself going more back towards a more medium full to light medium cigar. I feel like the smoke is a little bit richer, especially on the French Exhale. It's not so hard on my nose, but I pair my cigars, period, whether it's with coffee, whether it's with a good brew, whether it's with a good bourbon. And if the cigar and the pairing will wipe the flavor off of my palate every time, so that each time that I'm puffing or each time that I'm sipping, it's the same fresh experience. And that's what I like. And sometimes those fuller cigars blow your palate out. They just blow it out. You know what I mean? And those are the ones that I want, like when I'm out on the boat fishing. I want a full flavored cigar. I want something where I'm not going to be drinking a whole lot because, I'm out in the public and I'm not going to stand up and piss off my boat. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, let me have a more full cigar. It helps me from drinking too much, So that's kind of been my journey. And I was talking with my new coworker today. His name's Bill Glatz, really good guy. We've been talking about stuff, and he's a YouTube guy. He loves watching YouTube, and he tells me about all the things. And I made the realization today that YouTube is basically the modern day library. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, we used to go in, we used to get in the card catalog, we used to rock out the Dewey Decimal System. Anything that we wanted to know about, we'd go look it up, we'd pull the card, we'd go to the book, we'd bring it out, we'd read it, and we'd do it. Okay, well, YouTube is the modern day library, guys. That's what it is, and I've been able to utilize that and find all these great people that are in here doing this and enjoying this hobby. And, very rarely do you find somebody that really over exaggerates about a cigar that they enjoy that you're not going to like it. I mean, honestly, don't you feel the same way, Ben?
Oh yeah, a lot of great honesty, a lot of passion, so many different palettes, and they're always. I just celebrated 3 years, and I'm still learning so many cigars. Yeah. It's a great time, and YouTube and just being online is a great resource. A lot of people put a lot of time and resources into picking up stuff, and it's cool to experience it through that, get introduced to new smokes.
Well, and then that also goes into the realm of the uber experienced smoker guys like Leo, like Sal, like Skinny Money. Those guys have been smoking cigars for decades and have a super refined palate. You know what I mean? But I can't tell you how many times that those guys have been able to peer into my journey and recommend, hey, try this, try that. they're spot on with it, and I usually enjoy everything that they send my way. You know, so there's you know, it goes from one spectrum to the other. You know, and is everybody's taste the same? No, it's not. That's the great thing about it. You know, it's all retrospective, and it's all what you like. You know, nobody can tell you what you like. You know, nobody can tell you what spice you like. Nobody can tell you what food you like. It's a personalized experience, and I think that's one of the greatest things about cigars is you can make it so personal. And yes, you can share that with people. Do they have to agree with you? Hell no. Do you have to agree with what everybody else says? No. But when you find and surround yourself with great people that have the passion and the love for this hobby that you do, you can trust in it a little bit more. You know what I mean? Especially when you know they're not out to pimp some shit for somebody, and they're not out to try to just, you know, sell you on things, you know, because
There he is. What up, Leo?
hey, we were just talking about you, buddy. I was sharing some of my experiences with you know, my cigar journey, and I was just talking about how, like, you and Sal and Skinny, you guys been doing this stuff for decades, and you have such a knowledge and such a refined palate, but you've been able to peer into my journey and where I'm at, and you've been able to recommend things to me, and you've been really spot on with it, and I really appreciate you, buddy. And thanks for coming tonight, man. We're just hanging out, having a good time. Some good people in here, and really glad you're joining us.
Yeah, he's definitely pointed me in the direction of a lot of budget-friendly sticks too. Always trying to look out for me on deals, and
absolutely,
that
it
means
really
a lot.
does. You know, I mean, it's an expensive hobby, you know, and anytime you can share a discount, anytime you can hook somebody up with something that they're wanting and save them $60-$70, that's huge, you know, and it's a good thing.
And I took my band off. I didn't want to burn it. Speaking of having decades of experience, EPC, I did a little bit of research on this guy, Ernie. Like, I've always known of him as one of the, didn't know he was a junior, that he carries the namesake of EPC from his dad. They lived in Cuba, and they took over a factory called El Cerrito.
Yep.
But when they had to leave, like, they were really involved in the stuff. The dad was a senator, but he had a great upbringing around tobacco. And when he got a chance to, he ended up working for a great company, La Gloria Cubana. And in those 80s, he really liked the Cuban Davidoff. So when it came to the 2009, when he could start his own company, he always kind of had that palette in mind of balance and complexity, and it's definitely shown well on this cigar.
Yeah, for real. I mean, he's definitely a master blend, and everything that I've really had. You know, I mean, I've smoked, and I have a lot of the EP stuff, and now, you know, he's you know, his daughter's coming in. She's very active in the company. She's very one of the very few children of some of these, you know, old school cigar producers, cigar blenders, that their kids actually give a shit about taking over the business. Well, his daughter is very active in it. In fact, now actually EP Carrillo is rebranded as Casa Carrillo. You know what I mean? And they're doing a lot of really good new things. In fact, I just got one of their new silks that they just came out with. I've had the Black, I've had the Pledge, I've had a lot of their stuff, and it's all decent. I mean, you can see why they went on a run for a few years and got top cigar. You know, it's good blends, it's good solid blends. And they like putting out the box presses too. And I don't know why I like a box press, but I really do. There's something about a box press that just evens out the flavor for me, and I really enjoy it, you know. But this has been something special. I knew it was after the very first one that I smoked. And I probably smoked my first one of these about 6-7 months ago. So I was maybe 4 or 5 months into my cigar journey when I smoked these, but I knew I had to have a stock of these because it was just like, oh my goodness. Well,
they're in LE. They're getting harder to find.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been trying to look these up. I don't see them around very much. So I'm really glad you're able to share.
Hey,
I'm gonna miss out.
Peter.
What's up, Peter?
Man, thanks for coming in and hanging out with us tonight, dude. Really appreciate you. You know, we've been talking a lot about you guys and our experience and how you've really enriched our knowledge and really enriched our cigar happy land, if you will. You know what I mean? Since I've been hanging around with the Cud, my enjoyment of my cigars has been just so much better, and you're doing really great things, man. And it's obvious as to the Cowboy Carlito. What's up, Hound Dog? Good to see you, man. And yeah, so we've really been enjoying this and just talking some good things. And this is a good cigar. It's complex, but it's like, you know how some fuller flavor cigars really bite your tongue after a while. This doesn't do this. It's a very creamy coating of the palate the whole way through. You know, I'm not feeling like I'm not getting the progressions through the thirds. Those flavor changes and those profile changes are very prominent in this cigar because it doesn't overpower your palate. You know,
I had to open mine up a little bit. The V cut was a little tight.
Right on.
But that is really great texture, a lot of flavors. It's a great smoke.
It really is.
So I want to make sure I'm covering our
Leo,
stuff pretty well.
This is the EP Creole 15th anniversary, the Bellicoso.
But yeah, no, I don't think without the Cud, I would have ended the cigars Unbanded live. I would have met you, at least not right away, because you were already making stuff since April, and you got almost 200 subs, 50 videos. It's been really cool seeing your journey and getting to go catch up on some stuff. You really have some great production in your videos. The building the Death Star cigar bar is really unique. That train wrecked humidor reorganizing, that was a great video, and I know that was a lot of work.
It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of work just because I needed to get my shit put together. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm a nerd with anything that I do. You know what I mean? I throw myself wholeheartedly into it, and I need to know everything about it. And this is a hobby for me, but yet it's an investment. You know what I mean? I've smoked a lot of cigars, but I've still got over 300 cigars in my humidor that's probably cost me over $5,000. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I need to know what I got, and I like to rotate things, and I like to get them out and let them breathe a little bit and clear the air out of my humidors and really go through everything and look at everything and see what I have. And you know, there's those nights, especially when I was still hitting the whiskey pretty hard, that you know, you'd oh, hey, here's this cigar, or I would literally pack up a box of shit and ship it out to somebody, and then I would forget to take it out of my cigar scanner, and then I'd be like going through everything, and it's like, well, I'm supposed to have 274 cigars, but I've only got 240. So what the fuck? You know what I mean? But yeah, thank you for that. And I've just enjoyed this, you know what I mean? And you know, like I said, I've got other YouTube channels. I got my Chunk Light Barbecue channel, and I've got my Hi-Fi Jedi channel, and you know, I've been doing drone videos on YouTube for a long time, but this has been the funnest one for me, you know what I mean? And a lot of it is because all of you guys, you know, all you guys that I've met, and all of, you know, I watch some of the things that y'all are doing, and I try to take the things that I think are the best aspects out of what you're doing, and compound on that and add my own flavor to it and my own thing, you know. Like that's why I like you know, the fact that you know, I'm the only cigar tuber that has an AI co-host. And you know, and I like to put production value into it, you know what I mean? I really work very hard at the graphics, and you know, the intros and outros and sound bites and everything that I put into my videos, because I enjoy that part of it, you know. And it goes well above and beyond the cigar world, because I've been in the you know, film and camera and production value since I was a little child, you know, so it's just ingrained in me. So being able to put out good content that people can enjoy, because it has to be entertaining as well, you know. And I'm a character, you know, and I've always been a show off my whole life, you know what I mean? I'm very comfortable in front of the camera, and I'm very, you know, I'm very easily well spoken with people, and
Yep.
you know.
I
And
like that you cover the coffee really well. I've been getting introduced into the coffee world, and that you notice the complexities and the different blends. I noticed that I do like the Ethiopian blends a lot, so I definitely need to get more of those.
right on. So Matt, to answer your question, so I've been kind of in the midst of doing my life change with finding and starting my new job, which I actually went to my second day on the job today. So I went to work for a company called Austin Dooley in Lee Summit, and this company, they run group homes for extremely handicapped individuals, you know, people that are just totally bedridden, or you know, can't speak, can't function, people that will like drink anything they can get their hands on, or put anything in their mouth, or do whatever. So I've been trying to find that, and getting focused on that, and getting back on track, because I've been off for 3.5, almost 4 months, you know, since my last job. And thank you for that, man. I appreciate it. And but so yeah, so I haven't had as much time to devote towards you know, putting the production in and getting some stuff. But I've got a few videos in line for some new cigars that I've been waiting for them to kind of age a little bit before I bring them out. So I've got some new stuff coming up. And then I'll be honest with you too, I got hooked on Dune Awakening, and in like 2.5 weeks, I put like 60 hours into this video game. So I've been geeking out like crazy, you know. And you know, it just one of those deals. But yeah, I got some really good content, and I'm trying to do more collaboration stuff, and I'm trying to get some of my local guys that I've reached out with, that are ending their summers, and they've been busy, and I want to have some people over to the Death Star to talk, because I feel like this is where it's at. In fact, you know, one of my most successful videos is where, you know, I got with Jesse and had him over to the house, and we talked about our experience where we met at the bar, at the cigar bar, and how that perpetuated and all that stuff. And that's kind of more like the thing that I want to be able to do. And you know, but yeah, winter's coming, and I'm not going to have a whole lot to do but put out some great content, and I really want to get going on that burn ends deal, because this is the time of year where a lot of my local Kansas City barbecue stores are going to be putting out new recipes and bringing out specials and doing that kind of stuff. And dude, we got so Kansas City's got the bid for the next World Cup. And
Wow.
everybody in this town has been shitting the bed trying to paint streets and freaking fix shit and get their shit ready, because we are getting ready next year for, a multi-million-dollar worldwide influx of money coming in. You know what I mean? So I'm also trying to try to get with some people that I know that are in the soccer world and that kind of thing, and some of these restaurateurs that are going to be putting on some things and trying to do some videos and some specials with them, and introduce myself to some of these international people that are going to be coming over, and try to find some cigar smokers that are traveling here for the World Cup. So I got that kind of stuff in the works, that I'm trying to work out as well. Have I become the God Emperor of Doom? No, I'm so anytime. So this is like a survival RPG. So this is how I always play an RPG. I sit back and I level up and I stock up like way more than I should. Like I'm still like in the first level, the first map area of the game, and I'm like level 38 already. So I like to stock up and get my shit ready so that I can blow through the rest of the game with ease. You know what I mean? I want to be way higher level and have way better shit and way better guns and way better everything than anybody else. So I put the work in up front so that I can coast and then enjoy the game and not make it such a struggle for me. You know what I'm saying?
I've been enjoying watching you have some Megar time. The next segment is Noteworthy Cigars presented by Boveda and Boost. Any cigar surprise you this year? Noteworthy revisits, good, great, okay, bad. I noticed that you got to follow the recommendation for trying that chef edition from Davidoff. That's something I'm looking forward to trying.
Yeah, so Skinny recommended that chef's edition to me, and Nick, the guest Nick, he's a local guy that lives here in Kansas City, and he was like, well, I picked up a box at my local. Well, I know where his local is. I know who he shops with. So I went down there and I was able to get 2 of them. So I smoked one, and then I'm going to definitely do a video on that, but I'm going to do that as kind of like a chef's special. You know what I mean? I'm going to cook up a meal with some French onion soup and some duck à l'orange and some shit like that, and eat that meal and share that meal with you. And then I'm going to smoke that chef special afterwards to be like, okay, this is why this cigar really should go with a fine dining experience. You know what I mean?
That's really neat. Really cool stuff with your channel. You go all the way with your personality and your passions. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, thank you. Well, and that's what it is. It's just, I try to make my content more about how cigars enrich my lifestyle and what my lifestyle is and what I'm doing and how this accentuates it. You know what I mean? Rather than just solely focusing on just the cigars. Because I don't, number one, I don't have the time, to be able to smoke as many cigars as I would like to, and sometimes I just can't, and so, but to me, it's more about the experience, and it's more about the lifestyle, and it's more about the people, just like tonight, man. You know what I mean? I met you such a short period of time ago, and we kind of hit it off a little bit, and look at where we're at. And we got great people hanging out with us tonight and enjoying a good cigar together and some great conversation. And that's what it's about, man. To me, ultimately, it's about bringing people together. It's about letting people voice and share their experience of what they feel and what they're doing in their lives. You know what I mean? Like you got, you know, your exciting opportunity, your life change that you're getting ready to go in a totally new direction in your career as well. And, you know, and what that's taken out of you and the focus that requires and everything, you know, and that's the kind of stuff that I love, you know, and I'll be honest with you. You know, you can go to a local lounge, and unless you have like buddies that live around you that you can experience that with on a regular basis, usually when you're at a lounge, you're kind of with randoms. You know what I mean? Where I feel that this virtual cigar lounge, like the Cud and like the, you know, the places that we can get together and do this kind of stuff, is more geared towards you being able to hang out with the same like-minded people and come to respect them and come to be able to trust their opinions and that kind of thing. So I really like this medium for that, you know?
Yep, I agree. It's so much fun.
News
updates from presented by Half Wheel. They just had the Enter to back. It's the European version of the PCA. I found it really interesting that so many New World stuff, a lot of American branding got to shine, and that they've been getting less of the Cuban influence, and they've been enjoying a lot more cigars that we are. I don't get to talk to too many people in the EU, but that they've been more getting to enjoy the same cigars that we are. That's really cool to be able to connect.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and that's kind of why, like I said, I'm kind of looking forward to this World Cup thing, because I know there's going to be a lot of people from all different regions of the world that they're going to be smoking. They're going to bring cigars with them. They're going to do things, and I'm going to be able to meet and conversate and share sticks with people and that kind of stuff, because it is there, you know, the markets are all different, you know what I mean? And blends and things, you know, and those guys, the sky's the limit, you know. I mean, they can get Cubans all day long, and they can get this, that, and another, and they don't have the restrictions that we have on that kind of stuff. But you know, I mean, I've only smoked the one. We had that Cuban cigar night on the Cud, and I was fortunate enough that that Marvin sent me that Bolivar, and I was actually able to smoke my first Cuban cigar with everybody that night, and I can see how special it was and how different it was and everything. But it's like that, you know, that's not something I can just go buy. You know, I got to have connections to be able to get that kind of stuff. I can't just pick it up or whatever. And, hey, we were just talking about you, buddy.
What's up, Nick?
Telling everybody that you know, you turned me on that you got you know, some stuff from Diebels, and that they had the chef special, and I went down and got a couple of them, and I was able to smoke one. So thank you for that hookup, Nick. That was great.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, we would we would definitely figure the nuclear thing out, and you know, there would probably be some kind of you know, international incident at the end of that. It really is, man. I had that one, you know, and Skinny was like, "Man, this is such a good cigar." And you put that post up that you got some at your local. Well, I knew where you went and got it, and I went down there, and I could only get a couple, but you know, I had the one, and then I've got another one that I'm going to save back, Nick, to actually do a video with. And like I was telling everybody else, I'm gonna cook like a fine cuisine meal and eat it and then smoke that cigar and give my reflections of how that paired with some fine cuisine, you know. FOMO, there you go. There's a good topic. There's a good topic. You know, that is something that is in just about every hobby and everything that there is. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of companies have grasped the fact that if you state that something is really rare or very limited or put something out in limited qualities, that it's going to pump the FOMO. You know what I mean? And you Ben, you put that thing up because we had that long conversation the other night where it was like, I'm very much a FOMO guy because I've been a record collector for decades. You know what I mean? And I've been in the FOMO that it's like there's been limited releases or very rare records that, you know, if you pick them up and you hold on to them, they're going to be worth 10 times what they were when you bought them. You know what I mean? But it's like, here's the thing with the foam. Hey, what is going on? Epicurean. We were talking about you earlier too, brother. Man, we got such a great group in here tonight. Thank you guys. We are so so proud to have such a fine guest list tonight, you know. And
yeah,
but
what
yeah,
up,
so, but Ben, you put that comment up. It was like the Romo, not the FOMO, the relief of missing out. And that's okay. You know what I mean? Because number one, it's real easy in any hobby to go past your means. You know what I mean? It's too easy to see people that might be of better means than you are, that have the ability to get this and get that and whatever. And you know it's great because if they're smoking it, it's got to be badass because they don't fuck around with stupid shit. You know what I mean? They only smoke really good cigars. And you want everything, but you have to dial it back down to your you have to dial it back down to your own means. You know, don't put yourself in debt over cigars. Don't buy more shit than you can afford. And just because you can't get it, like we talked about earlier, start building those relationships with people. You know, start being like, well, hey, I would really like to have one of those. I've got some of these other cigars, you know, I'll send you some stuff and maybe you can send me one so I can try it and at least get to appreciate it where I didn't have to go in hock to buy a box of something or buy a 5-pack of something. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that I love about this community the most is, you know, everybody's willingness to share with you, especially when they know that you're really excited about something. You know what I mean? And they might realize that, well, hey, you know, this guy may not be able to be on my level with what they have in their humidor or what they're smoking, but I'd really like to get their take on this cigar, so I'm going to send them one. You know what I mean? And that's a normalcy around this is everybody's willingness to share, as long as you're not a douchewad about it. It's going to happen if you just be patient and build and work on those relationships.
Yep, like Tara just said, sisterhood of the traveling cigars. We're sharing our favorites. Like you shared with me a bunch of your favorites, and I'm really looking forward to that Brulee Blue.
Yeah,
it's so cool on how we one develop the friendships, and then two our love for the finer goods is really nice.
Well, then let's plan on doing this. Then Ben, I will host the next collaboration with you and I will host the next Ben and Sean show on my channel, and we'll smoke the Brulee Blue together.
Heck yeah, that would be awesome.
Because that's my favorite. I just love that cigar. I bought more of those than anything else that I've ever had, and it's my favorite. If I wake up with a good coffee and a quiche and a Brulee Blue, I don't give a shit what happens to me all day long. I'm going to be in a good mood and I'm going to have a great day, you know, for real.
Yeah. My wife's been playing with some of the quiche variations, and I'm really spoiled. She makes sure that I'm eating really good. I'm
That's
not
all.
much of a chef, but
I love it. You know what I mean? And it's like I've got recipes where I just use like Pillsbury crusts, you know, and you just got to do it right. You know, you got to warm it up, you got to par bake it just right, and then you know it's you know start sweating down a bunch of onions and cooking some bacon to where it's not super crispy, and get some good mixes of cheese, some Gruyere and some extra sharp cheddar, and use some really good dairy product to mix in with those eggs, and
mhm.
a good piece of breakfast pie is amazing. You know what I mean? And I cook mine up in big old things, and I can't eat a lot of it, so a little slice goes a long way. So I can cook a quiche on the weekend, and I got breakfast for the whole next week. And I just cut a slice and throw that some bitch in the air fryer, and it's just like it came out of the oven. The crispy crust was there again. The cheese is all good and melty. Everything's good, and I like it. You know.
Yeah, like Tara was saying, that she's been doing that with the tortilla crust. I
Oh,
definitely got to
right.
take a good picture the next time that she makes that, so you can try to make it for yourself. It's pretty good.
I would dig on that for sure. You know, because sometimes it's a lot of extra work to have to make a crust from scratch, or take a Pillsbury crust and cook it right so that it doesn't shrink and it doesn't crack on you, so that your egg leaks out all over the place while you're cooking it. You know.
Well, I'm getting it pretty deep in my final third. This thing just doesn't quit. It's so good. How's that churro pairing going with your cigar?
Really good. In fact, I really want to go grab another one real quick. If you're okay with that, take me just a minute, because I got
Yeah, you're good.
just a second. I'm gonna go grab another one so we can finish up. I shall return.
Nick, we're smoking the EPC 15 year, the limited edition. This was the first major box buy that he picked up, and it's my first time with this cigar. I'm enjoying it a lot. I don't smoke enough EPC, and this thing is really smooth, using a lot of great Lajero tobacco in the filler, a lot of really aged binder and wrapper. It's got all that full flavor without too much intensity. Definitely, I recommend it. It's been a really nice treat, and the band's got such great artwork on it. Definitely a legend. EPC. She could bring one over. That would be pretty nice. You fed me pretty good though before we went and smoked, but definitely.
And Nick, so I've been pairing this with the Boulevard Churro Grande smokestack tonight. It goes really really well with this Carrillo, man, for sure. You know how lucky we are to have Boulevard here in Kansas City, because man, they put out a lot of really amazing beers. You know, for sure.
Tara's asking, have you ever done a V cut from both directions? The Chris with the would be more like a crisscross, open it up more.
I
That
have.
is that is a pretty good one.
I've done like an X cut on things. But what I find with that is, when I do that, it tends to flower open at the end too much. You know what I mean? And I almost prefer, if I'm going to do something like that, I'll do a V cut with a punch cut. I'll do a punch cut first and then slice a V cut through it. I like that better than the X cut, because the X cut, depending on the Vitola, a lot of times when you do that, those little nubs, they get a little too delicate and they kind of want to break off on you, and then it screws up your wrapper. That's been my experience with it. Yeah, there you go, the flower cut. For sure. And Nick, I've been telling everybody about how we got the World Cup coming, you know, and how everybody around this town's been going batshit crazy trying to get geared up and ready and drop trolley lines and all that kind of shit all over everywhere. But I'm really looking forward to like meeting up with some world travelers that are going to be coming into Kansas City and probably bringing cigars with them and smoking them at some of our local lounges and seeing what that's all about. That's going to be pretty exciting once that it is, dude. It's everywhere. And not only are they doing the streets, but MGE, which is our local gas company, has been replacing gas lines all over the metro, and they got shit dug up every fucking where. You know what I mean? It's been a nightmare trying to get around Kansas City because they're trying to get all this infrastructure shit updated before the World Cup. You know, it's fucking trash can out there.
Oh, Tara, I love your questions. She's really passionate about the tobacco too, even though she doesn't get to smoke it. That she's been growing my crop for me and trying to learn about cigars, knowing that I'm really into it.
Well, and
I'm really lucky.
Let me tell you something that my great grandmother shared with me years ago, and it's very well renowned. No question is dumb if you don't know the answer. And the only dumb questions is the ones that you don't ask. You know what I mean?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm still just, this thing is burning so good. The flavors are consistent. It's still not burning the shit out of my nose. Ray, thanks for coming. Appreciate you, brother. I know you got family. I know you got everything. I will see you Saturday, bro. Everybody, you get a chance to go hang out with us at Ray's Cigar Lounge on Saturdays. It's just a very nonchalant conversation, smoking some cigars, sharing some ideas, and be sure and like and subscribe on Ray's channel. He's got a really great channel. He's growing there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep, King of the Night Show. He definitely does a great job, and he's able to. He has his friend come hang out sometimes, but he could keep it going for 5 hours. It's amazing.
Well, but I will say this about Ray, and he's a trooper, because how many times is he sitting there and he's like, he about ready to pass the fuck out, but he will still hang out with you if you're there with him. So you go, Ray, bro. For sure.
So our last segment is forecast presented by Casio. I love those watches. Really practical. What are you most looking forward to? Anything new coming up as of cigars or events?
Well, we're actually lucky enough here in Kansas City where there's a good enough amount of aficionados in this town where it brings some of the bigger names, and they do have events here. You know, of course, you know, Opus Exodus is upon us, and you know, 99.2% of us don't have $1,500 and another $8,000 to spend on travel and buying cigars. But I guarantee you watch some of these guys and you watch some of their channels and some of these guys that are going to be going to Opus Exodus, that's going to be a treat. That's going to be very special. Nick, are you going to Opus? I figured you got tickets, man. And dude, post the shit out of that stuff. Take us with you, do some live stuff, do whatever. I'm jelly, bro, but I will live vicariously through you because I know you'll share some of that and you'll show some of that experience of one of the finest tobacco makers and blenders that there ever was.
Oh, my wife says I love that you flex that Casio and not the nicer gold one I got you for your wedding gift. I love my Citizen watch also, but
Well, I love good watches.
mhm.
I've got a tag. I've got an Omega. I've got some Tissot's. Tonight I'm wearing my fucking Submariner Rolly that I got from my dad when he died. It's a 43 millimeter fucking Rolex Submariner. I didn't have that, got that kind of money, but my dad specifically left that to me when he died because he wanted me to have that watch because I was there with him when he bought it. I'm very lucky to even have that kind of a timepiece, but I do love. I think it's a 43. I'm not. It might be a 40. I don't know. I'm not totally up on all that stuff, but it's a great timepiece, and ultimately it just reminds me of my father because I was there with Fred when he bought it, and it was the first Rolex that he ever bought, and he used like some bonus money for being top salesman with Bell and Halmamia, and I'm really really glad. Well, this one would have been Nick. This one Dad bought in 1983.
No, I'm glad you wear that to honor him. I'm sorry you lost him recently, and I can't imagine how that is.
Okay. Yeah, because it is a little bit smaller. It's not like a presidential or a Daytona or something. It's a smaller face and bezel, but it's a heavy sumbitch. And I just went in and got the sapphire crystal polished on it and everything, and it's yeah, and like Sokka is always putting his watches up on his shit when he's posting stuff on his channel and everything, and it's like, hey, I'm not a man of means where I could actually afford a Rolex, but I inherited one, and it means more to me than 10 watches that I could ever afford in my lifetime. I'd rather have this one,
Texas Taurus, what up?
Hey, what's up? Welcome. Nick, we need to get together sometime, dude. I mean, we're close. I know you're busy running your business and everything, but love to meet up with you and smoke a cigar sometime. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, the in-persons are pretty special, especially you've gotten to know the person a little bit through the CUD and the virtual lounge.
Yeah.
It definitely takes you to the next level
dude,
when you're not looking through the screen.
Nick is the funniest, most sarcastic, witty son of a bitch because he don't give a fuck, and he puts out comments that will just crack you up constantly. I love Nick, and even when he's in the lives, anybody's lives, he's always pumping shit out there that like pushes the envelope. So Nick, you just keep being you, bro, and we will appreciate it. Yeah, you, yeah. I think you spread sarcasm on your fucking toast every morning when you when you get up, But I love it, bro. I love your wit, for real. Just that's it, man. That's all I want to do, I try to crack people up with my shit. I try to have fun. I just keep it light, keep it real. So many people are just so serious and down to business about this thing. And like I said, cigars enrich your life, and And when you live a life of pleasure, and you live a life of happiness, if you can't have laughter is the best therapy there ever was. You know what I mean? Laughter is the best medicine that anybody ever took. You know, and to be able to crack people up, and you know what I really like is when I crack myself up. If I can crack myself up, then I know everybody else is laughing too. You know what I mean? I'm my hardest critic most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's a lot of fun. And yeah, Balls Deep is a pretty funny commenter.
Now, Balls Deep, I haven't met you. I'll look into your. Are you a creator? Do you have a channel? Are you putting content out there, or do you just come in and hang out with people? I'm not familiar with you, so my name's Sean. I'm the Old Fogey. Nice to meet you.
Yep, I agree with your statement, Nick.
Absolutely, yeah.
We have it good.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what. Hats off to Marvin, man. He's really been on his last live, and then he did another one tonight. He's a preacher, and he's really trying to promote people talking about their faith and sharing their faith, and bringing us back to that. And it's just I'm too old to not know what it's all about, but yet I am old enough to have one foot firmly planted on the banana peel and one foot heading towards the grave. So, you know what I mean? I need to make sure that I'm aligning things right in my life to where, I can have a spot in God's house, and I can have that eternal reward when it comes time, because I'm a firm believer in it, and I've seen him work so many great things in my life to not believe that it's true. And here's the thing too, everybody has their right and their opinion and their everything about, creation, evolution, whatever. Well, I'm going to share something that somebody shared with me a long time ago. So here's a Rolex. Here's a very fine timepiece. Okay. Let's put this towards mankind. You look at the design, you look at the complexity of the human body, you look at how plants give us what we need and we give them what they need, the symmetry and everything that goes along with it. Okay, so let's put a pile of gold and stainless steel and brass and shit and throw it in a pile, and then how's it going to become this? How is it going to become this? It was created. Those raw minerals and those raw materials didn't just evolve into a fucking fine timepiece. They were created. Well, we're the same way. You know what I mean? Our bodies and the majesty and the magic and the mysticism of how our bodies work was not a mistake. It was created. You know what I mean? And I'm a firm believer in that. You know what I mean? For real.
Amen.
Hello, Texas Taurus. What's up? What part of Texas are you in, man? Yeah, nobody makes it out alive. We're all on the path to death. We all are. Let's make the best of the time that we have here and make the most out of it and build relationships and enjoy and share. Let's not hate, and let's love, and let's give everybody the fundamental American right of, I can scream at the top of my lungs on one street corner the shit that I'm passionate about and the things that I love and the things that I'm into, and you have the right to stand on the other fucking corner opposing everything that I'm fucking saying for your entire fucking life, and that's okay. You know what I mean? That's the American way. It's the American dream. You know, we all have the right to speak our minds, and like-minded people clutter together. You know what I mean? But so let me.
Look, I want to give you a chance to shout out your socials. Make sure that everybody catching up and watching this later get a good feeling of where to find you.
Well, so my main thing, I'm on YouTube at the OldFogieStogies. I'm on there at the Hi-Fi Jedi. I'm on there at Chunk Light Barbecue. I'm on there at Kansas City Dronographics. I've been a content creator for a long time, but this is my main thing. This is my main focus. This has been my most fun because I'm really enjoying this, and I'm really enjoying the camaraderie with the people that I've found that are involved with cigars. I've been doing it for a long time, and I have not had near as much fun. I'm on Facebook, I'm on whatever, but just just hit me up on YouTube. All my links and all my everything are on there. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, come check it out. It's a new take. It's not. It's cigar experiences and the life that's evolved around what cigars has done for me and how it's changed my life more than it's about cigars. And I'm not the guy that's going to tell you every leaf and wrapper and history and all that kind of shit of everything. You know what I mean? I pick up a cigar and I smoke it. And like one of my main segments is, a stick and a story. I'll pick up a stogie and I'm going to tell you a story. I mean, I've been around, you know, and I've got a lot of great stories to share. And sometimes I'll smoke a cigar and it'll remind me of a restaurant that I was at or something that I ate or whatever, and I'll share that with you, and I'm just a poor old, dude from the Midwest, grew up in Kansas City, and I ain't nobody, you know what I mean? But I've seen some shit and I've done some shit, and I've met a lot of really true human beings in my life, and I've met a bunch of douchebags, and we all know what that's all about. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I try to kinder towards people that I feel like Ben. I knew within the first two conversations that I had with Ben that he was a real human being, and that no matter what he had to say, no matter what I had to say, we would mutually respect one another and we would jive. And that's what I'm all about. And that's what my channel's all about. It's just how cigars has enriched my life and how it makes me feel,
Oh,
Well,
right on. Go check them out. Subscribe.
Glad you enjoyed this tonight. I really have, because I haven't had one in a minute. I made sure I didn't, because I wanted to really experience it and taste it with you and share everything. And, obviously I've been doing a little more talking than you have, because I'm just now getting into my final third. But, I'm an old school fucking deadhead and acid eater, and, and I got my hemos, so I'm gonna nub this son bitch long after we get off this, because this is hemo worthy tonight. But I want to thank Ben for hosting this thing. He's doing really good things with his channel, and we're gonna do a lot of good back and forth stuff. And I can't pimp enough the Cigars Unbanded community. You know what I mean? Here's a group of guys that been into cigars and love cigars and are passionate about cigars, and they got this great club. You can go to Small Batch for $75 a month, and however many Thursdays there is in a month, and a lot of times there's 5 Thursdays. So for $75, you're getting
Mhm.
5 freaking cigars. And I can't tell you how many times that we've smoked 40, 50 plus dollar cigars on one night. So it is a very great value. Small Batch is a very great company that sponsors them. I bought a lot. In fact, I've never had the Isla Cocodrios. Marvin has talked about how much he loves the Cocodrios. I just got my first 5-pack from Small Batch today, and I've ordered a lot of stuff from them. And just investigate the Cud and what it's all about. That's where Ben and I met. It's a really great platform. It's a really great place to get into. And actually, there are some true aficionados. There are some people that have been doing this stuff for most of their lifetime, and they have knowledge that goes beyond anything you can read or anything you can research or any video that you can watch. And they're not content creators. And the only way you're going to get that knowledge, and the only way that they're going to be able to share their experiences with you, like Sal and Leo and Skinny and those guys that are the heavy hitters that know what's good and know what's not good, and try to get into the Cud. Try to at least watch it. Watch it a couple of times. You don't have to be smoking the same cigars that we all are. You can smoke whatever you want. It's a great environment. It is a great place to meet like-minded people. And JB, hey, JB came. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. He's another one of our
JB.
And I can't tell you enough how much that has enriched my life. And in a very short period of time, I actually was able to be a guest on there. I don't know that I ever will again, because I was more like, the Carrot Top of cigar smokers. But I had fun, and it was all good. But just if I got any advice moving out and closing this segment, is people will tell you things, but just experience it for yourself. You know what I mean? Try a lot of different kinds of cigars. If your budget doesn't allow you to buy boxes, then don't buy boxes. You know what I mean? I buy a lot of single sticks because I'm very new into this journey, and I want to experience a broad spectrum of things so that I can pick out those top 4 or 5 cigars that it's like, okay, well, if this is all I ever had for the rest of my life, then that's what I'm going to buy. And that's what I suggest that you focus on. You know what I mean? Don't fall into the hype. Don't fall into the naysayers of you need to buy this, you need to buy that, because your palate might be totally different from somebody else's. So trust yourself, trust your own palate, and don't fall into the trap of letting people influence you into buying shit that you don't need or you don't like. You know what I mean? Because this is all relative, and it's all subject to whether you like it or not. And 20 people might say that they hate it, but if you like it, who gives a shit? Who cares? If you like it, then that's your go-to. That's your jam, baby. And follow that and trust that. You know what I mean? No matter what. And don't be afraid to share that with other people. You know what I mean? Because you'll find others that'll be like, oh, yeah, that was good. Thank you. And I can't tell you how many times I've gone to different cigar bars here in town, and I brought a load of sticks, or I bought something at an event and been like, here you go. And you get it back. You send some shit out, people are going to send you some shit back. And it's like, a lot of cigars there may be available to me and may not be available to you in your area, or whatever. Or somebody might be able to have a line on something that it's like super rare. And, if you got a good rapport with them and you've shared some things with them, all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, looky what I got, and you get to try it. But I also encourage you to smoke it with like-minded people. Like Ben and I have been enjoying this cigar together that I shared with him. You know, that's more important than a lot of the rest of it. So just keep it classy. Keep trusting your palate. Build those relationships, and just enjoy the journey, and allow cigars to slow you down to where you can just be yourself.
That was really well said. Thank you, Sean. It's
Thanks.
been a really great pleasure of getting to hang out with you.
It really
Definitely
was.
great stick that smoking into the 2 hour range. A
Yeah.
lot of great value in that and enjoyment. And
For sure.
definitely we'll do this again.
Yeah, and I got a few more of them, and I'll make sure you get a couple more. You know, so that you can enjoy them at a future date, because it's just been such a great stick for me, and appreciate your friendship, appreciate everything that we've shared together, and you know, we just do what we do, keep it classy, and love and be kind to one another.
And shouts out to my wife.
Yeah, and thanks for coming, Tara. And like I said, Brendan and I will try to maybe plan some kind of trip to Cali, and you guys can show us what your realm is all about, and then maybe in the future you guys can come to the Midwest, and we'll give you the old you know, Kansas City barbecue and the blues and the everything, you know, experience, and share some culture with one another, you know.
Yep, I know it's a place that she definitely wants to check out.
And thank you for being a great wife to him. You know, behind every great man is the woman that supports him. And when you see somebody that is happy in their life and they have a good woman behind them, a lot of times the credit that belongs to you doesn't get there. So I get that, and I get that Ben would not be who he is without your love and your support. So keep on being good to your man, girlfriend, because you're doing a great job.
Okay. We'll catch y'all's later. This has been BenSmoking with friends. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We sure did. And we'll catch you later.
Peace.